Good morning and welcome to the market forecast. Not sure if you can see or hear me. I'm using a new computer, and of course, there's always going to be issues in and around that. Let me know if you can hear and everything, and if it sounds good. I've got a little bit of an issue. Hello, hello, all good now. Everything fine? All right, good. All right, I guess we're in good shape then. Well, let's go forward with the market forecast for Thursday, May the 12th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. Again, I apologize for the issues this morning. Sounds good. Yeah, their machines do seem to be in revolt. All right, good. At least it sounds and looks good. That's good. I'll work out the other issues. The SEC, I guess, has opened a probe into Elon Musk and his Twitter disclosures. Of course, they are. Crude prices have softened overnight amid IEA warnings of continued tightness in fuel markets. We've got a long list of earnings today. Most of them are not going to be all that impactful unless they attack in groups. Motorola is due out after the close today. As always, make sure you hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback. Heckling is deserved, and all love is always welcome here on the Market Forecast and Market Recap. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notification when we do go live. I will take care of the tech issues. You guys just be you. As far as the VIX, the dollar index, and the 10-year yield, the VIX is up about 6% this morning at 34.60. The dollar index up at 104.45, new highs there. And apparently the GDP didn't come out very good last night in London, so we've got the euro on a breakout to the downside. I put that market on watch yesterday just by looking at the information, volume, open interest, and how close I thought we were going to be to a breakout. It of course takes sometimes a fundamental reason for that to happen, and it certainly happened last night. So maybe some expanding opportunities in the euro. We'll take a look at that shortly. And as far as the 10-year yield is back down to 2.8%. I'm going to say good morning to everybody. I'm still trying to get things set up, and I got you guys all the way over here on the right. So it's always a pleasure to be with you. Spencer, Shaw, Dan, Terry, Theo, chilling with Dylan, March, Charles March, my brother Rick, love you. Brian, Tachyon, Scott Saw, Andy Gonkard, Kevin Guy, good morning. Jordy, Bill Phillips, good morning. Devont, Andre, Jerry is awake, and hopefully I am too. Three Lions Insight, good morning. Laura, good morning. Isaac, Sarah Hall, fine morning, and prayers and love to all of you. Rusty Golfer, that's my name. Alfred, Devont, Shaw. Yeah, video stalled for everybody. Yeah, and it just seems to be that opening feature, so we'll get that figured out. I thought it was my slow computer. Tachyon down 420 so far. 420. Rebuilding trade execution, part of the trading strategy today. Good. Yeah, I'm seeing circles. Again, I apologize about that. Good morning, Kevin Laffey. Skip the video and just text us where to buy and sell, Shaw. I wish I could do that. I don't think anybody can really feasibly do that, but that would be a fantastic thing to be able to do, wouldn't it? One of these days, would really have to step out on a limb to do that. Expediter Dean. Glitter Sandwich. Does anybody know if they reset back to step 2 if my account goes back if or does it? Well, it depends on the account and the situation. Glitter Sandwich. I would contact our fine trader support team. They would be able to tell you in your situation where you're at. Okay. Denise, good morning. I don't know if I've said hello to everybody, but thank you for letting me know that the stream was going. New computer to fix those tech issues. Yes, a new computer. Right. Christo, good morning. Sounds good. Jerry, thank you all for letting us know. And, all right. New computer, new gremlins, yes. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? That's something I will definitely have to try. That's number one IT advice right there. Absolutely. All right. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Good morning, Jack Doherty. The Jack Doherty. It's a pleasure to see you, sir. Kevin, thoughts on possibility for selling to accelerate into the end of the week? Kevin, nobody can predict that, but according to what we're seeing in the tea leaves and the chicken bones, I'd say there's a pretty good probability of that. We're seeing some continuation. The downside auction appears healthy. We are in structure. We are adding volume. We are adding open interest on the way down. There's at this point no reason for me to think that it will not continue to the downside. We're getting pretty close to that 20% off the all-time high in the S&Ps. We're getting pretty close to 30% off the all-time highs in the Nasdaq, and the auction to the downside seems healthy. Now that said, we've come pretty far this week to the downside. My question is, at some point tomorrow, do we get some profit taking, and do we get that face rip and rally to the upside? Never know. I don't think that's the real JD, John Doherty, our beloved John Doherty. I think that's his dad, who was a broker in the lumber pit when I was a deck holder, so many years ago. What was that, 1983, 84, 85, Jack? And I was about 1. You were maybe 18 at that time. If only. So, all right, let's see if the charts work. Let me get things set here to look at the E-mini S&Ps first. Good luck. All right. It appears we have successfully transferred onto the charts. All systems go so far. All right, let's go. Looks like we're good. Volume and open interest increases continue at lower pricing. Yesterday, adding another 8,200 in open interest. This entire move down has been increasing in open interest. That's money coming in to the downside direction, which leads me to believe that the downside auction, which started way back here, it still remains healthy. Of course, it's not going to go in one direction. We have really just left an area of balance. This consolidation can even out inventory, which left us with plenty of potential initiative selling available to us, and that's what I think we've been seeing. We've been seeing initiative selling. Initiative selling is actually selling at a lower price, expecting price to continue in that direction. Volume has been good. New York volume also has been good. I think it was 5.8 billion yesterday. So we're seeing the signs of continuation, Kevin and everybody. So the last thing I want to do is try and catch a falling knife, try and catch pick the bottom in this, because we all know that picking bottoms is usually not a good idea. This market can continue to move lower as long as this is going on, as long as this auction is healthy. Well, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart here. We've got a late spike. You'll probably see it a little more readily here on the TPO chart. So here's our late spike. The base of that late spike, 39.36 even. That's where the market left balance and did not have time to show signs of acceptance below the previous area of balance. Let's go back to the 30-minute chart. So when we have this, the late spike right here, When we have a late spike and we open flat out below it, that's the highest probability of continuation to the downside. That's the biggest sign that the market is continuing to reject higher pricing. Now look at the last three sessions. Lower highs, lower lows, expanding ranges, and continuing to bring in more business as we continue to the downside. So the nuances are out there to say that we're going to be looking for opportunities to sell any kind of strength this morning. So we've got the late spike. The base of the late spike should be resistance if we even get to it. The high of the M period, that is the last period of the session when the market basically closes at 3 o'clock. So the high of that is right up here, and it is 39.5650. To me, that's the line in the sand if we are going to continue the move to the downside. If we accept above that level, which would have us accepting back inside value, that's when the value area special situation play comes into play. But it's not even on the radar here just yet because we have a gap to the downside, gap rules. We have a late spike rules. Now, even with all of that information that we are looking at, that we have here, anything can happen. That's our acronym here, ACH. Anything can happen. So be prepared. Look for opportunities that allow you to limit the risk and offer much bigger profit opportunities, asymmetric opportunities. That's what we're looking for. All right. Jack, I know you're not 100 years old. By the way, Jack, my brother Rick is here. Rick, you remember Jack Doherty? Jack is the father of John Doherty, who works here at Top Step. And it's a pleasure to see you again, sir. Okay, so complicates, but kind of gives us a strategy here for the morning here in the S&Ps. We're looking to sell strength unless we find some sort of acceptance back inside value and back above the M period high. That M period high again, 39.56 even. Let's take a look at the crude oil. We've missed the opening range, which is all right. I don't think we're in any big hurry here. So we are deep into rollover now. Tuesday is probably going to be switch day. We'll be watching the volume and letting you know when we switch over to the July contract. When we look at what we've got here, in essence, we've got a long period of balance. And now that we're in rollover, that area of balance is more likely to maintain. We added 1,000 in open interest on this move to the upside yesterday on lower volume. Is that a little bit hollow? Seems like it to me, but it's very difficult to know because, again, we are in rollover. We had June, the current front month, lose 17,000 contracts to the next 3 contract months. So there was no real change in open interest, just some of the bets got pushed out to a further date. Overall, long time frame balance is in place since the middle of March, beginning of March, middle of March, I would say, when we started to put in this low and we started this contraction. What does that mean for us on the 30-minute chart? What does it mean for us today? Well, 103 is the weekly kickoff low. It was driven to on Monday, driven from on Tuesday, driven back above on Wednesday, and our overnight low is back to that level. We're in range, relatively close to value. We've got some overnight inventory to the short side. So I'm not really in any huge hurry to get into this market. I'm looking for opportunities back down near weekly kickoff low, or if we can get an opportunity up at the overnight high, yesterday's high. This is an area where I would be interested to throw a line in and see if I could catch a couple of fish here. I think my favorite level is probably, of course, the weekly kickoff low, which is something that I create. And I'll be looking to see if maybe there's an opportunity there. We've got no more fundamental information other than the rhetoric that is out there around crude oil, and there's plenty of that. So we've got that to help to confuse us. Here's the 1 minute. Here's the opening range. So here it is. We've got 104, 36 tick opening range. Boy, it sure gave us a nice opportunity when it came back to the low of the opening range before breaking out. Well, actually, it did break out to the upside, came all the way back near the low of the opening range. This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is a nice place to fish because it may take your worm, but it's not going to take your whole rod and reel. It's the ability to trade close to a point of invalidation. If the market comes and takes out the low of the opening range after taking out the high, something may have changed. Maybe the market isn't as strong to the upside as we may think. So this pullback to the bottom of the opening range, boy, that was a really sweet move. 5 ticks. You could have risked 10 ticks to see if we were going to hold the low of the opening range. Again, it might steal your worm, but it's not going to take your whole rod and reel. And here we go with the move to the upside. Again, I don't think we're really missing all that much just by the positioning of price inside yesterday's range, coming back into value from yesterday. I think there's better opportunities as the day goes on. So watch those outer levels and see if you can't find some fish at those extremes. Here's the Nasdaq. It looks like the Nasdaq has pretty much traded almost right to the 30% correction off the all-time high. I'm not even looking at my 401k. You cannot make me. Volume and open interest continues strong to the downside. We added another 11,500 in open interest on the move to the downside yesterday, and volume did hold up, and in fact was higher than the previous day, and the structure remains strong to the downside. This auction is continuing to express itself in strength. 30% off the all-time high. Who'd have thunk it? We also had a late spike here in the Nasdaq, which leads us to believe that price is continuing to reject higher pricing and accept lower pricing. The base of the late spike here in the Nasdaq is 11,986. It's where the market really kind of broke out below the previous area of balance and did not have, again, time to accept or reject price at that level. Opening below it indicates acceptance of lower pricing, so we're still going to be looking for opportunities to sell strength. We have some overnight shorts which might give us the opportunity to get better trade location, and again, the base of the late spike is an interesting spot for an execution, and the M high, the 2:30 to 3 o'clock high of that bar, which is 12,040.50, is again kind of my last straw to see if maybe we are going to come back in and reaccept inside value, which indicates that kind of starts the value area special situation play to the downs to the upside, and a check to the other extreme of value, which does not, by the way, change the market state in longer time frames. Gold. Well, we're starting day 3 in an area of balance, and we kind of warned about this yesterday that the market might just become magnetic towards weekly kickoff low, which is again 1849. Downside medium time frame is intact. I'm still thinking about looking for opportunities to sell strength in this, and a move back towards weekly kickoff high might give us that opportunity. But again, that gives us a chance to limit risk. That's my whole game. Is I don't want to pay a lot for that muffler. I don't want to lose a lot on that trade. So yesterday we saw that the market looked below and then came and hung around just above weekly kickoff high, weekly kickoff low. Last night, we settled here at 1853.70. We've got some overnight shorts and we're still in range, wrestling with value. I don't see that there's a real reason to get too excited in this area. We're right in the middle of yesterday's range, and there's very little change in the perception of an ounce of gold right here. So, We're going to just be looking for opportunities. Maybe back at weekly kickoff low is an interesting spot for us. But look what it did yesterday. It hung about it. Last night after the London session, it just hung around there. So the opportunities, I believe, are going to come to us later in the day. Don't go looking for trades. Let them find you. Yesterday, well, last night, I should say, in the euro, British GDP showed a shrinking economy, and that really knocked the euro. Now, yesterday we talked about putting this market on alert because we had been consolidating for so long. We were starting to see signals in open interest that were indicating that there was some money coming in. It was difficult to distinguish which language, so we were looking at the lows of this balance and the highs of this balance to go with should the market break out and find acceptance. And I'm looking at the volume from last night and the fundamental information. And unfortunately, this happened during the overnight session while I was sawing logs. This weekly kickoff low here, 104.98, was a long above, short below. If we started to see some momentum below this, this was a situation where we would be looking at initiative activity. Getting a little warning from my program here. Okay, so we're looking at finding opportunities to sell the market on pullbacks. We're looking to sell strength until further notice. I mean, and that notice would be reaccepting a back above weekly kickoff low here, which puts us back into range. Oh, I'm gonna look through my notes here. All right, let's take a look at the 10-year and the nat gas, and we'll try and be ready for Make Hope Money. You gotta see if I can pull up that link, and we'll see what kind of tech issues we have for Make Hope Money. I'll get this all straight now. Okay. Price closed and remains basically back in this bull flag. Bear flag, I should say. Volume was strong yesterday because of that pullback off of the lows. And there was virtually no change in open interest on this. There was nothing. Volume was good, but there was no change in open interest. So it looks like maybe we got too short and we got back out of those shorts. Something like that. Here's the 30-minute. And overnight longs. Here's our bear flag the way it looked yesterday. And you know, the overnight session at 2 o'clock in the morning is when this is not overnight longs. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Overnight longs holding again a potential bear flag in the 10-year yesterday that was 7:30. The numbers that came out, CPI numbers, broke us down below that and then came all the way back up, and we've just been kind of towing this line all the way back up. So well, if we're still going to be maintaining this gap, we're going to look for opportunities to buy on weakness if we can't close this gap relatively early. Remember the gap rules. We're looking for continuation. We're looking for opportunities to trade in the direction of the gap, which would have us looking for longs. It's kind of an interesting, kind of strange situation here. Now to the nat gas. Volume. Look at the volume yesterday on this pullback. Just absolutely dropped off. We lost 3,200 in open interest. This little pullback is feeling a little bit hollow, you think? Weekly kickoff is going to be somewhat pivotal for us today. Take a look at the 30 weekly kickoff. 2 days of really just not really good, strong buying coming in. As a matter of fact, looking at these profiles, they're both P-shaped. This was short covering. Short covering takes buying power away from the market. We've opened with a gap. If we can't close the gap, we're going to try to trade in the direction of the gap. Our next stumbling point would be weekly kickoff low, obviously. The overnight low is very close to that. This is actually presenting more like a bear flag that I would think would be below the lower trend line of this bear flag. We're going to look for opportunities to sell strength in this market. And again, anything can and usually will happen. All right, so let me find a couple of things here. I gotta get the Zoom. See if I can bring up the link to get into the Make Hogue Money today. And here it is. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. Hopefully we won't have any more issues, but what are the odds? So there's the link to get into Make Hogue Money today. I'm going to go and get things set up. It may take me a few minutes. I'll be there probably about 8:25, which hopefully will give us enough time to think about some early opportunities in the S&Ps, because the way the market's set up, it might be a good idea to look at some earlier opportunities. So take your deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative. Get out there and profit today. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Say a prayer for world peace. I'll see you in just a few minutes for Make Hogue Money. We'll see you then.